We ready? Today's the 23rd, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Maria Nodoff with the Orangevale History Project, and I'm here with our videographer, Ken Benedict, and we're here to interview some very interesting people who we are thrilled to finally track down. I'm looking at you guys, Olivers. The board is thrilled that you're here. Okay. So, I need to introduce. Why don't you raise your hand when I go around? We have Penny Hall.
Hi.
And Mary Oliver.
Hi.
And Randy Oliver.
Yes.
And we have Dan Hall. Okay. So those two are married, those two are married. I thought they were related, but apparently these two were born at the hospital at the same time, and their mothers were friends. So.
We all went to school together, too.
Did you all go to Bella Vista?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All alumni?
Yeah. Randy was a year ahead of us.
65, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so your year was?
66.
And you?
66.
65.
And you?
66.
What are you, Ken?
68.
Okay, you're ahead of him.
You were a year.
You're a baby.
Yeah. My younger sister was a year ahead of you. And she was,
So,
Ooh,
Patty Foyles.
okay, the name sounds familiar. I don't see a picture of her.
Janice Jordan was 68, I believe.
I remember Janice.
Yeah, she's in charge of something of I Love Orangevale.
oh,
Yeah, there's a story there too.
Okay. I don't know, I always just see it on Facebook.
Okay.
Okay.
So these three were born and raised in Orangevale.
Yeah.
I didn't come out there until December 59.
No, I didn't come until 59.
Oh, you didn't come till 59?
No.
Fifth grade. She came from Chicago. Or
No, Illinois.
I'll pay attention to what I said.
and Randy, where'd you come from?
Sacramento.
Okay, to Orangevale.
Long ways away.
Yeah, big move,
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
move.
Yeah. No, I was born and raised in the county, but just,
My dad,
we were downtown, so South Sac.
All righty.
my dad came to work at Aerojet.
Okay.
And my mom, the story is, was born kinda at Folsom Prison because my grandpa was a guard there. And from my understanding back then, the guards and the prisoners used the same hospital. So my mom was on her birth certificate as Represa, California. Mm-hmm. My dad was born in Oklahoma, Kingfisher. And he came out here when he was 7 with his mother and 6 siblings in a Model T, Model A, what was it?
I don't know.
Something that when you went up a hill, you had to get out and go backwards and push it or something.
You didn't go forward, you had to do it in reverse.
Yeah.
And that's how they made it here.
Yep.
Well, we have some interesting stories of how families got here. That's a good one. That's a good one. So, Dan, we had the opportunity to interview your beautiful mother, Elizabeth Hall.
Okay.
That was a lovely interview. And
Yeah.
there were family members around, including your wife, Penny.
I came in at the end of it, yeah.
Yes. And your mother said that your father died young.
Yes.
And where was he working?
At the time, I believe he was working at McClellan Air Force Base.
And she said that she had to raise you all by yourselves,
She tried.
and that you were a handful.
Still is.
No, hey, he's the best of the lot. I wouldn't have had either of the other ones. No.
Remember, this is on film.
I know, I don't care. They know it too.
So would you care to elaborate on your mother's statement? You were a handful?
No. There was 3 boys, and
All of you a year apart.
they were all, we were a year apart, and I was the youngest, and I got blamed for everything. But no, my grandmother was there that lived with us also, so there was more than just my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that was it.
Well, I think Mom told him that your dad was killed in the military. He was in the
Service.
reserves at the time, but he was killed in a hunting accident.
Oh.
Yeah, but she remembers just not everything exactly clear.
True.
She's made it where she likes it better.
That's true.
That's a great way to live.
Right, right.
I agree, and she thinks we're wonderful, so I let her think everything she
Yep.
wants.
Yeah.
So your mother also said that the Woos, who lived close to you, if not right next door,
Right next door.
and this was in what is now the Walmart parking lot,
Correct. Correct.
and she said that the Woos were so good to you.
They were a great family, except for their dad, Willie. Which, the boys used to give us treats and stuff, and Willie didn't like that.
Oh, he was in business to make money.
Yeah. But that's back when the old public market was there at the corner. And
Before Capri.
Richfield gas station was there also. And we lived 2 doors down on Hazel, and their house was behind the old public market in the middle of a field, which would have been behind Zuccardi's feed store. If you got pictures of any of that stuff.
The old feed store before they moved.
Was
Yeah.
on the other side of the street.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So somebody, I think it was, we call them the Woo wives, the two surviving wives. When we interviewed them, they said that the Woo house was moved. Do you remember that?
That the Woo house was moved? No.
Moved there or moved
Dude,
from there?
Moved. They actually physically moved the house.
If they did, I don't know.
Well, maybe they were talking about your house was moved.
Our house was moved.
Yeah.
But
Right
the Woo's house was, as I recall the Woo's house, it was a pretty old 2-story house, and it was kind of down behind the public market back in what I call a field, but I don't remember it being moved.
But your house was. Maybe that's what they were
Yeah,
talking about.
our house was moved.
And where was it moved?
Somewhere out on Ouachita.
Oh, okay.
Supposedly, yeah. That's
There's
where the apartments are now. That's where their house was.
Okay.
That was his mother's property, or his grandparents' property, and his mother's. And then, the market was closer to Greenback, and then their house. And then the next lot, the Farrells lived on.
yeah. Well,
That was his grandparents,
That was my grandparents' house.
and
That's where the Porters lived.
yeah.
The Porters, and then my grandmother Coppinger
Was a porter.
was a Porter. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was where the Pony Express station was when Orangevale was still Folsom.
And where was that?
Third
The third house?
lot down,
On Greenback or Hazel?
Hazel.
Okay.
And then going past that, is that where the Baldwins?
Yep.
Okay.
The Baldwins were past
lived
that.
next.
Okay, I'm
Farrells,
with you.
yeah.
I'm trying to picture it all.
Yeah, the Farrells lived in my grandfolks' house, and then the Baldwins lived next door to that.
Yeah. Who he was a
CHP.
CHP and
He
had
was a motorcycle.
2 or
Officer.
3 sons. 2. Kurt.
No,
Kurt.
there was Bruce, Kurt, Kent, and Greg. There was 4 boys.
4 boys. Okay.
4 boys.
Two old. One was in 65, right, with you, or 64?
Yeah.
Give me your
Bruce was
He
the
probably went to
oldest.
San Juan. He before Bella Vista, and then
Yeah, but my brother David, he went to San Juan.
Yeah, but
that's
then he
it.
came for his senior year at Bella Vista, didn't he? No?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
just for clarification, the Baldwins were Bruce, Kurt,
No, these are the kids.
Yes.
Okay.
Kent and
Gregory.
Gregory. Thank
He
you.
was the younger.
Yeah,
So these are
Gregory.
all Baldwins. Do any of them still live around here?
I don't know.
One used to come to our class reunions,
Oh,
Kurt, I
Kurt?
believe.
That was-
65? Was he
he was
65?
same as David, whatever. No, 64.
64. Okay. One of them did come to
See,
our
Bruce. I think
class
Bruce.
reunions.
I think Bruce passed away because he got Alzheimer's or something.
I say I don't even remember him. He was older.
Yeah,
I used to work with their mother,
Mrs. Baldwin.
Uh-huh.
Flo. Florence.
Florence,
And where'd you work?
At Capri Pharmacy
Oh,
in 73. Dale and
Dale
Bob.
Schrader.
Dale
Oh,
Schrader.
yes. I have Greg Baldwin. I have a contact, Greg Baldwin.
He's the youngest.
Yes.
I went to school with him.
You did? Okay.
I was going to say, I don't remember him.
Yes.
He was
Was Kent and Kirk, were they twins?
no,
No. Okay. All right.
no.
That was another group.
Yeah, yeah,
Someone else.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, you guys are keeping me busy. All right. So, also for clarification, when you said the Farrells lived in your grandparents' house, now is that on Hazel or Greenback? Which way are we going?
Hazel.
Hazel.
Yeah,
And the Baldwins were also on Hazel.
Yes,
yeah, they were the next ones
they were
after.
the fourth house down.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and that's where Dan's grandparents had lived, and they had the Pony Express station.
Okay. And their name was Porter. And they had the Pony Express. And
Daniel, and
I don't know.
I know his name was Daniel Porter.
Yeah.
so, now, but this house is no longer there. Or
No.
is it?
No,
None of
that
them
one's
now.
gone. None of them.
They're all gone.
Baldwin's
Except
house.
Baldwin's.
Baldwin's house is still there.
Baldwin's the only one that's left.
The apartments are on his mother's property and his grandparents' property,
Okay.
which the Farrells have purchased, and
And
that's where the apartments are.
Now you got the Walmarts back here, and their property went all the way back to where those apartments are right there against the back of where Walmart's, front of Walmart is, I guess you'd call it.
Well, and that's where your house was. Yeah,
Somewhere in there.
was right behind where
So-
Walmart is. Yeah.
Who wants to start with childhood memories?
Childhood memories of Orangevale was the best place in the world to grow up.
Oh yeah.
Because between Hazel Avenue and Main Avenue, there was nothing but orchards. And depending on what time of the year it was, when you went down that way, you
Ate your way
harvest whatever
through.
fruit you wanted to.
That's where you got all your vegetables and fruit.
Nah, but that was a good place. And then where the post office is now, that was
Cable.
Cable's property, and
Yeah, that went
that
all,
was nothing but a big field for the longest time, and
the big hole in it.
the big hole out there in the middle of it where the rumor had it back when we were kids that they were going to build a big J.C. Penney store there, and the big hole in the ground was going to be where the basement was at. And they never built it.
But you could ride your motorcycles down in that.
Oh yeah, we rode bicycles and stuff down there.
And scooters and
anything.
In the hole?
oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
Fun.
that whole field because it went clear to beach, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It went all the way from Hazel to Beach Avenue. It was nothing but a big field.
One of the Mr. Sal told us that field at one time they grew wheat or corn. I can't remember. There was wheat in one of the fields, and there was corn in where the community center is now. But I can't remember which crop was where.
Community center.
Down
That's-
further on Hazel.
Oh, down
That's
Hazel
down-
further? I don't
They
know.
had corn there.
Well,
We didn't go that was too far away
this
from home.
field. This field was where Ross and.
Parking lot, yeah.
Well, behind
the-
the parking lot, where the
Yeah.
stores are there. And then up on Greenback, they had the library and,
The library, and there used to be what was the name of that store? Western Auto. There was a Western Auto store there.
they were right
There
on
was
Greenback.
There was Vernon Cable's law office was there. There was a post office there. And there was also a small variety store that was there. That was a whole big strip mall there. And then on the corner was the Pittman Shell, which would be where they have the meetings every
The Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce now. That used to be the Pittman Shell. And then behind that was where the Bank of America was at. And then the Bank of America moved across the street after they moved the Webb, the bar that used to be there.
Where was the
And then there
bar?
It was where Bank of America is now.
Now?
That was
What was the name of that bar?
Webb.
the Webb.
Oh yeah, the Web. Okay, yeah. I've heard of that.
Yeah. The Webb, and next to that was the Little Man's Market.
See, I don't remember any of that. So how old were you then? When you can remember that?
I don't know, 7, 8 years ago. We used to wander all over there.
How,
See, I lived on Central still then.
And then where the old Safeway used to be, only where the Walgreens is at, that used to be a big drilling outfit when we were pretty small, probably 6, 7 years old, because we used to go there in the evenings, because always behind there, the guys that worked there, they always throw their old soda bottles out behind the place, and 3 cents a bottle, man, he needs a lot of money.
yeah, you could buy a whole soda if you got enough
He
bottles.
got enough bottles, yeah. But, and then there was the drilling company that was there. This was on Greenback. It was on the corner, and then next to that, there was a Richfield gas station. And then next to that was the old firehouse.
I remember the firehouse.
Firehouse and the,
We used to take the fireman chocolate chip cookies.
yep.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then that's about all that was there. And then you had a long walk all the way down to the other end of town, and then where the Orangevale Glass is at now, that used to be, I think that was Van Horn's.
No, the Vans Market. I was across the street.
No,
Orange.
Van Horn's. This was Van Horn's. It was like a hobby shop or something.
I don't remember that. I remember Vans Market across the street, like kitty corner from Foster Freeze or Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that little market.
Yeah, it used to be Vans.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was.
Vans, because Bill Vance, if I remember right,
Yeah.
was a friend of my dad's, and when my
Was it
dad.
before they moved to Maine and Greenback? Because that's where Van's Market was.
No,
Right?
Yeah.
no, it would have.
This was a little family thing. It
Yeah, it was on the corner of Walnut and Greenback.
Was, yeah.
And
Yeah, it was,
Where
it had a
it's auto
butcher,
parts store.
A butcher
now.
shop. Yes.
it had the butcher shop.
Auto parts store. And
But I don't remember what, it wasn't Vans. Vans was the one that was on Main, but I don't know what this one was.
No,
Are we
I
spelling in 2 different ways?
yeah, I think it was Vans, Vans. I think it was there, but it was Bill Vance had the butcher shop because he
Yeah,
was a friend
yeah.
of my dad's. And
Yeah.
we used to get beef there, but anyway,
But that was, I knew that when it was on Walnut, where, right across the corner from Dairy Queen.
yes, yeah, that's what I'm
And then-
talking about.
Yeah, and then the Vans was,
I don't know the one
I don't
on
know.
Main. I don't know when that was there.
Oh, there-
And then
I
the
can't
only
think of
place that you could go out to dinner at night,
Campfire Cafe.
Campfire Cafe.
Yeah.
That's where we had our first meal. When we came out here, Dad come out like a month earlier than we did, and when we came out, we stayed with some friends of my grandparents in Fair Oaks. And like a week later, we got into our brand new house. We lived in a 2-car garage in Illinois that had been made into a house. And we got 3 bedrooms. I mean, it was just...
And where was that?
That was in Illinois, Silvis, Illinois.
Oh, okay, but not here.
No. The new house was, I mean, luxury, big luxury. We got into that house, but we didn't have any food, we didn't have anything. So we went to Campfire Cafe for the dinner
Your
that
new
night.
house was here in Orangevale.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's,
On
yes.
Illinois Avenue.
Yeah.
All right.
It's,
well-
it's off of
Central.
Central,
Okay.
and it's La Junta.
Yeah.
Central and
Kenneth.
Kenneth. 1 street down from Kenneth. Okay, yeah, that's where we were. But yeah, Campfire Cafe, that was only, I think it's probably one of the only times we got to eat there because we didn't go out to dinner.
Well, that was,
Any place to go.
No, but
was the
except the
only place
Campfire
to go.
Cafe.
yeah, I don't remember any place else that was around.
Rick's Drive-In.
Where?
Rick's.
Rick's. Down to the drive-in.
Yeah, I
Or
forgot about
Foster
it.
Freeze. But Foster Freeze came later, I think.
Foster Free was later.
Yeah.
Rick's Drive-In was a big deal back then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was, well, because I lived down that end of town. I lived on Maine in Greenback. And so, yeah, Rick's was the place, the in place to go.
That was the only place.
So,
That and the Economy Corner was there at the
right
corner.
next door to it, yeah.
What was Economy Corner?
It's a gas
Gas
station,
station.
and they sold like
Little store.
Yeah, they had some fishing stuff there.
They had fishing stuff there. They're in competition.
Yeah, my dad didn't like them.
Didn't like them.
Speaking,
They had fishing stuff there. They had, matter of fact, I bought a pistol from them for like $29. You know, one of them really looked like a real cowboy gun. You know, but it was plastic, I think. But it shot 22 shells. So
How about BB guns from them?
yeah.
speaking of fish stuff, I have, my notes say Randy and Mary Oliver, Ollie's Bait Shop. That's all I have, but you're saying it was not called Ollie's Bait Shop.
No, that was,
Lee's Bait and
it
Tackle.
was Lee's Bait and Tackle when we got it. We got it in December of '59, and my dad changed it to Lee's Bait and Tackle.
His name was Lee.
My dad's name was Lee Oliver. And guy that had it before us, his last name was Swab, but I can't remember his first name. But that's who we bought it from.
Okay.
So
59.
And where was Lee's Bait and Tackle located?
it was, well, it's
Right next to
you know
Boardwalk.
where Cowtown or the Boardwalk is? It's right next door.
Okay.
It's where
And
the
then-
tile, there you've been
Tile
at.
place there or something.
Well,
now.
They
that's gone out
closed.
now. But
It's
that's
gone
the,
now?
that's the store, and then on the or there was a gas
Gas.
station on the corner.
Yeah.
So we were in between what is now the Boardwalk and was a gas station. There's a building there now, and that was Lee's Bait and Tackle.
Which is smaller now than when we had it because the boardwalk
Moved
Took part
over.
of it.
took part of
I
it.
think so.
Yeah, it's smaller.
It's funny you bring up the name Cowtown. The original name.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Cowtown was, that's when we had it. Cowtown was next door. And, yeah, there was, that was a big happening place on Friday and Saturday night too. And, so yeah, we had that store, and then we lived in back of the store. It was partitioned off, and we had like a little kitchen, a couple of beds and a shower, and that was our house. That was it.
It was attached to the store.
Yeah, it was
And
still
how many? Your parents and
me,
you? Just okay, the 3 of you.
and some dogs and cats and stuff.
So did you work in the store?
Yes. Yes,
No,
I
we
did.
didn't.
Oh yeah, that was part of the deal.
That's where we got part of our alcoholic beverages.
Underage.
No, we weren't underage.
Oh, baloney. Gonna tell it right.
That's right.
Yeah, they had,
I was trying to think of that in '59. When did they sell it? That's what I was trying to think the other day.
early 70s. Early, because
Brenda was born in
I went
'74.
into service in 67, and we came back, and then we worked a little while there, and then I went to work for the state in 72.
But your dad still
December 71,
your
but they
dad still had
it for a
it.
while.
Yeah.
So it was in like the, I'd say mid-70s.
Yeah.
Before that, your dad passed in.
He passed in 77.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I'd
yeah.
say it's in the mid-70s that they sold it to was Wild Sports. Because
Yeah.
that's who went in there, was Wild Sports. And then eventually Wild Sports expanded
And took
and
over.
took over what was Van's
Van's
Market, which
Market.
was on the other corner of Main and Greenback.
Where the new 7-Eleven is now.
Yeah.
That was Van's Market.
And that was around in the mid-70s, you said?
I would say they had it, that was probably the late 70s when they moved. They probably bought it from my dad in the mid-70s, I would say. They stayed there for a few years, and then
They expanded.
they expanded, and they bought over what was Van's Market and expanded over there.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they expanded into Vans?
I'd have to say it was probably, I'm thinking it was like late 70s, I don't know, maybe 80. I'm
Brenda
not
was-
sure.
'Cause when you came back, Danny was born, because you'd sent him a kimono from Japan. Anyway, and then there was something else that I remembered that was that you had your house
We had
Because-
our house on Hazel from.
because you had the bathtub in the garage
Yeah.
with grubs. We were
Mary
kind of
she used to raise grubs.
For the bait shop.
For the bait store.
Oh, okay.
yes, and
That
then
was her
we would
bait.
go over and they'd just hang out, and Mary and I would count grubs and fill up the little ice cream cups.
I sold them to all the bait stores and Jungle Land Pets and the pet stores because the lizards and the snakes liked them. And
Yeah, and she'd raise the grubs and
All of this came from a bathtub, one bathtub.
no, I outgrew that.
You had some galvanized.
yeah, you had
Yeah.
the tubs too.
Yeah.
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 What was that? I lost my train of thought. We bought that house on Hazel in 71.
71 or 2, yeah, somewhere in there.
And then we moved in 74. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We were only there 2 years.
Yeah, because I don't know. I guess the kids were playing or something. I know I could count grubs. It took me a little bit to get used to it.
I don't think we mentioned, you two said you were born at the same time in the same hospital. Which hospital?
Sutter.
Sutter.
Sutter downtown?
Cent-
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
The only
Sutter.
place there was,
A hospital.
they had a little bitty hospital in Folsom, but not much of a hospital. I don't think, yeah.
Yeah, you were
Now I have to stop. What doctor? What?
Overhaul.
No, I think I was Granstead. Helen.
Oh,
I was Granstead.
Grins.
Helen was Overholt, my older sister.
Overholt he was trying to, evidently, when I was little, he tried to adopt me.
Because your mother cried when she got you.
Because she was wanting to have another girl.
She wanted to have a girl. She had 2 boys, and she got a 3rd boy. She cried.
Yeah, but anyway, it was,
No, I think Granstead must have been. Overholt was not my doctor. I mean, my mom's doctor at that time. It was Granstead. Overholt was Helen's.
yeah.
That's my older sister.
All I can remember is every time I'd go in there, he'd have, God damn it, Dan, I keep telling you not to do that stuff.
Could you give us an example?
A good
We
one.
always got in trouble and got hurt. You always ended up getting hurt.
Well, remember when we sat in this office with Diane?
Oh, yes, when I got
Yes.
to wreck with
Totaled my dad's car. And he had his little sister on the seat beside him. And we took her to the doctor to make sure she was all okay before we even told his mom or my dad.
Yeah. And that was one of the, goddamn it, Dan, I keep telling you. Yeah,
But everything was fine, yeah.
yeah. I was about 16, 17, something like that.
Diane was in kindergarten. That's why
Yeah,
why you had my dad's car. You had to go pick her up from school.
yeah. Yeah.
I let him take it. Luckily, my grandparents came up that same weekend, and my grandmother just looked at my dad and she says, "Well, how the hell you like it, Bill?"
What goes around comes around.
He wasn't very happy about that. But that's all right.
It worked out.
Yeah.
So yeah, the bait store, getting back to that, I mean, there a lot of the old-time Orangevale fishermen.
Yeah.
Randy's dad knew all of them. I mean, they came in and they'd all have a beer and talk and have a beer and talk. And
Some of them, yeah, they would. I mean, Otto Tilton was one of the guys that he was one of the old timers,
yes,
and he used to come in almost every day.
yes.
So was Luther Smith. He used to go down there all the time.
Yeah. Well, Tilton would go out fishing on Folsom Lake,
Yeah.
He knew every fishing hole there was.
and so, and I don't know if he lives on. Did he live on Tilton?
Yeah, there's off of Elm, just before Maine, there's a Tilton Drive, and it was named after him,
Or his family?
or his family, yeah.
Are any of them still around?
I
Well,
don't,
Otto isn't. I know that because he was an old man when I was
when we were young.
I was young, because he would come in and he would always
Well, he
want.
took you fishing too.
Yeah, I mean, he was always looking for somebody to go fishing with him.
Yeah.
And my dad would say, go on, go on. You know, so I'd go out and go fishing with him all day out on Folsom Lake. And he, you know, this was before they had depth finders and all this
Yeah.
stuff, but he had fished the American rivers before they built the dam. So he knew,
Where to go?
like where all the little underwater hills were and stuff like that. And so he would triangulate. He'd say, you know, he'd look up on the hill and he'd see this landmark and he'd see that landmark, and he would come together and he says, we're going to fish right here. And they would be like out in the middle of nowhere. Why are we fishing here? You know, and all of a sudden we just drop line and you know, start catching fish right and left. But he knew it, you know, he knew it like the back of his hand. I go out with him all the time. And but there was, all the green halls came in.
Yeah.
What was the first name?
Otto,
Otto Tilton?
No,
but
the
the greenhouses. Oh well, there was
Richard,
Ted.
Ted.
And they
Yep.
came to the store?
Oh yeah,
Oh, all the time.
Pudge. Is that
Yeah, Pudge,
Pudge
Ted.
Greenhouse? I knew.
Well, those were the uncles, right, of Richard?
I don't know. I knew Pudge and Ted.
Well, you went to school with Richard.
So I did.
Oh, no, Franklin. I'm sorry.
It's Richard Franklin. Yeah.
Wasn't he part of the Greenhalghs?
I don't know. Not that I know.
Oh, I thought he was.
He might have been. Who knows all the relatives? But yeah, Ted used to come in. Ted had a little drinking problem, and he was there. We opened the store at 6 o'clock in the morning. He'd be there at 6 in the morning to get a 6-pack of Olympia beer.
So you sold,
day.
you sold beer there?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
the coldest in Orangevale.
Yeah, we had a big walk-in box, and my dad kept it right about 32, 33 degrees, and so it was cold,
It was good beer.
cold beer.
It was the best beer in town.
So yeah, we had a lot of regular customers that came in for that beer, and then of course with Cowtown next door. But yeah, we had a lot of people that came. You'd be surprised the number of people who come in at 6 o'clock in the morning and want a 6-pack of beer. You
Get
know.
a 6-pack of beer on our way to the lake. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were, yeah, there was a lot of regulars that came in. And then there was a lot of, we used to, when somebody caught a lot of fish, they would bring them back in and we would take a picture of them with the fish, and then we had like a bulletin board
Yeah.
in there, old Polaroid camera. We'd take a picture of them and put them up on the board so people could see, hey, look, fishing's good. Buy some bait and stuff and go out, you know. So, yeah.
Did you have aisles, or was it all sold behind a counter?
No, we had
it
aisles.
was a
A lot of it, a lot of the lures and stuff were under a
Glass.
counter, under a glass counter. And then we would lift it up and get whatever they wanted.
On the back wall, we had the live minnows and
Yeah.
big worms, night crawlers, and
red worms, you know. And
the stuff
we
that
had a freezer that had sardines and chicken guts and stuff like that for the
Bait.
catfish,
yeah.
catfish bait.
All the nasty stuff.
Yeah.
And, of course, Mary's grubs.
And they were right next to, between the red worms and the night crawlers were her grubs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sold a lot of grubs.
So, yeah, I mean, those are good. They used to use those all the time for fishing purposes. They would use them for bluegill and smallmouth bass. That's what they,
Oh, that was the
that
best.
was the best bait.
Yeah,
And so
that
they
was
would
good
use
bait.
them
My grubs were big.
hand fed. So,
It's good to take pride in your work.
Yeah. And actually, then when Randy and I moved from Fair Oaks down to Sacramento, it was in 74. No, 75, early 75.
early 75.
The grubs went with us, but I was pregnant. We had our first daughter July of 74, and during my pregnancy, the grubs were in a bran mix, kind of like a sawdust, and
Oh, yeah.
for some reason, I got like allergic to it. I would get around it, and I'd start wheezing and coughing like asthma or something, you know. And I thought, what is going on? Then I had her, and we moved it all. Abby's snoring. And I had to get rid of them. Something happened in my system that I couldn't be around that stuff anymore. So my business went
Kaput.
kaput. I became a mom.
Oh, no, you started the old junk factory.
Oh, stop it. That was not till
Oh, that was a lot of fun stuff.
80s.
What was that?
I had a wholesale craft supply on Sunrise, almost 20 years, wholesale crafts.
That was
I worked
Home
there,
home
I worked
decor.
there too.
Orangevale.
That wasn't Orangevale, no,
Rancho.
Rancho Cordova.
Okay.
The shop was in Rancho.
Yeah.
So you went to school, where'd you go to elementary school, Mary?
Kindergarten was Roberts, but I lived on Central. First through 6, Orangevale. 7th, Green Oaks opened. And then our 8th grade, we went to Pershing.
Okay.
Was a middle school, first middle school. And then
Green Oaks at 7th grade?
I went there.
Wow.
And then Bella Vista.
And you went to the same?
No,
No, I went to Roberts down here. From Roberts, went over to Central School, and from there to,
Pershing.
Pershing for
You
1
went
year.
8th grade.
Pershing, and then Bella Vista. And that was it.
I lived on Central, real close to Filbert. So I could walk to Orangeville Elementary School.
Nice.
So,
And that's why you went to Green Oaks, because where you,
well, no, Green Oaks, we lived in on Elm.
oh,
And
okay.
the cut was Hazel.
Yeah.
I went to Green Oaks, and Norma and everyone else went to
Oakview.
Oakview. Yeah.
So did you go to Pershing and everything too?
Yeah, 8th
Yeah,
grade.
8th grade.
Was
Yeah.
that your first year here?
No, I went to
Central.
Central School.
Which is
5th
now
grade.
Coleman School.
Yeah,
Oh,
which is
okay.
now, is it Coleman even? It's the Montessori.
Oh, yes, it's the Montessori now.
Yeah.
We interviewed the Coleman teachers months ago. That was so much fun.
Oh, did you get Anne Luoma? Yeah, and Mary. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
Anne lived next. No, Mary. I don't know. They know my mother, my daughter's husband's mother. They're the wine drinkers.
Oh.
Mindy's wine drinking group.
Okay.
Pershing had 8th grade back then?
They only had 8th grade that year.
Yes. When we
Did
went,
we have 7th?
No.
No, it
No.
started it with only eighth
Eighth graders.
graders, and then the next year they
It was
got
seventh and eighth.
And then in between times, that's when they opened Coleman.
So I don't know how long Pershing stayed a middle school. Not very long, I don't
No, it
think.
was only a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was till Carney got
Carnegie
They
got
got
finished.
That's right.
When they finished Carnegie, then, and then,
Yeah.
yeah, once they finished Carnegie, then that opened up here.
Yeah, so all of us going to Pershing in eighth grade, that was a big, big deal because, you know, before that we had one teacher, one class. So when we started eighth grade, you had a home room and a history room and an English room, a choir room.
PE where
and-
you dressed.
Oh my gosh, yes, you know. So that was all something new to all of us.
So was that 62 when you went there?
Yes.
Yes,
So was that was the first year it was open?
yes.
Well, 61 we started, end of it was 62.
Okay, because
Yeah.
when I went to Twin Lakes,
Twin Lakes.
and because they had seventh and eighth, they had all the way through eighth grade there,
Yeah,
and because there was no middle school.
Yeah, because you were the first, because you then went to Bella Vista. I
Right.
mean, and then, yes,
Right.
because you're a year older.
So you went from Twin Lakes right to Bella Vista.
Yep.
Who knew?
Yeah,
I went
Yeah.
from Orangevale Open to Carnegie.
Yeah.
yeah.
First year it was there. Open.
Oh, and then to BV.
Yeah.
Memories.
Well, speaking about school, I can tell you a little bit, and I don't know the years or whatever, but Orangevale Elementary School, Sadie Cable,
yeah,
she was a teacher there.
yeah.
My dad had her, my two aunts had her, and my sister ended up having her for a teacher. And then after that, she became principal, and she was principal there for
Ever.
ever. So, yeah, she was well known in my family.
Well known in the community.
Yes, yes.
I think they should put a statue up of Sadie Cable somewhere because everybody talks about Sadie
Yeah.
Cable.
Well, yeah,
Well-
because the cables were around from forever when I was little because
Well, it was
Vernon
Cable
Cable
Field.
he was a lawyer, the only lawyer around. And so,
He took care of Orangeville.
yeah, most of the people in
So were the Cables and the Greenhalches relatives?
No,
Was that,
no.
no?
I thought Sadie was a Greenhalgh.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that there
Yeah, I think
was,
there-
they might
there
have been
was
somehow
something.
there were.
Sadie
Through
might have been a
marriage,
green.
through marriage maybe.
And then she
Because I
became
mean, all I can remember stories of all the money in Orangeville was either the Cables or the Greenhalches. I mean, and that,
Well,
Well, the
and they
greenhouses,
just-
because they had so much
Property,
property out there,
yeah.
and nobody had the money to buy property, and
Yeah. Well, and Cables lived at the
corner of
Almond and Central.
Almond and Central.
And they had a
And
pool.
and oh yeah, they had a pool.
Cement
It was a cement
hole in the
pond.
ground.
Wasn't it a doughboy?
No,
Wasn't
it
a
was
doughboy.
it was a
actual
cement.
cement pond.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't a built-in swimming pool. It was a cement pond. It
don't
was
remember.
deep.
Who had
well,
that?
I wondered. I know about that because I've wondered. They built houses there. That property's been sold, and they built houses there. And I kept thinking, how are they going to fill that? And are they going to fill that? And then it's going to dissipate. Their houses are going to fill in the
Settle
pool.
And-
Yeah,
and then-
we
and
watched
then
that for a long time.
Back when I was pretty young, at the corner of Oak and Hazel, going further north,
Wait a minute.
there used to be, and there still is, an old Quonset hut there.
oh yeah, the
Oh.
Naked Man.
And that was where
Hazel, yeah, oak.
the old nudist of Orangevale.
Yep.
That was-
He would ride around because I ended up living on Elm and Hazel, so he was just right down there on Hazel. He'd
He
ride
used to-
his
he used to
bike.
ride all over town, and
With no clothes on?
No, beige shorts.
Oh, bay shorts.
sometimes he'd have beige shorts on, and sometimes
He would just have
Really?
a little jock.
Really?
Yeah, I saw him
Oh,
many times.
I didn't see that.
And there was
Go get my
Yours?
phone. just turn it off.
So, not only him
You reach it, Randy?
was known as the Naked Man, but over on, what was that? The sheep herder. We would go, we lived in Orangevale, we would go to church every Sunday in Folsom. And, gosh, what street was that? Kind of over by where the Overhauts used to live. You know, Dr. Overhaut. What's that street? What is that? I don't want to say, it's not Cardwell, not there. It's on like the other side of Orangevale. There used to be a sheep herder. All the old man that herded the sheep.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. Where was that? I don't know. Anyway,
But he wasn't a nudist.
sometimes he.
Do you have any names for the naked man and the nudist sheep herder?
I don't.
We just knew the nudist. Dan, did you know any name of the nudist?
No,
I don't know his name.
no.
He had a Quonset hut.
It's still there.
That metal.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
still there.
All I know is
Rode on that bike.
one time there was, I don't know, there was 5 or 6 of us. We was all on bicycles, and we went by his house, and yeah, I make homemade ice cream. You guys want ice cream? I don't think so.
My son-in-law's dad, Mike Kerner, lived out.
Now what?
Mike Kerner?
That we went to school with?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah, Mike, and married to Debbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Their son, Zach, is my son-in-law.
Okay.
Oh.
Is he the coach?
Yes.
Okay, I know. Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Anyway, Mike Kerner, I have yet to interview him because he's down on the list. But he said that they used to ride the school bus, and when they went by the Quonset hut, they'd all crane their necks, try to look over the fence.
It was always a big deal to see if we could see.
He would ride by our house a lot on the bike, and he had a basket in the front of the bike, and he would, I don't know if he picked fruit somewhere, or it was always full of fruit and veggies. I don't know where he got them.
He had a big garden out by
Well,
his
then
house.
maybe he was riding around giving them away. I don't know. He never stopped at our house, but I saw him a lot going by our house. So,
He would go down Central, yeah. I've seen him on
Yeah.
Central. But I saw him in shorts. I didn't.
yeah, ask Mike. Mike and Linda Farley and, say, Mary Ekus, we all had crushes on each other. Way back then.
Okay, I have to get that when I interview Mike.
Then Linda Farley, Farlee, and Mary Ekus, Ickes.
Ickes.
That's me.
Okay, so you were both in love with Mike, and he was in love with both of you?
I think so. We all liked each other. I don't remember how it went, but I went to grammar school with him also. I'm trying to think if he was at 8th grade, right? At least 7th grade, I know. He must have lived in Orangevale. I don't remember where he lived.
Maybe out on Telegraph, possibly?
Yeah. That's where Al Hogan's wife, Jeannie, I don't remember what Jeannie's last name was, but they lived out there, and they all went to Bella Vista, and they went to Pershing, so.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So
I'm sure
that's
we went.
Telegraph that was out there, and that was, geez, what was her last name?
Sure, we went to 8th grade.
They had
with him,
Jeannie had a brother too, and he was a kind of a weird guy.
bad boy like you.
No, he was a good kid. No, he was a good kid.
I'm hoping to get a confession out of you still about why your mother said you were a handful. Are there no stories you want to confess? I'm sure the statute of limitations
All of the boys were a
is
handful.
over.
You know, my brothers they kind of got in a little more trouble than I always was smart enough to get out of it. They were the ones that
See, his mother worked at the Capria variety store, too. So, but when they had the public market there,
Oh, geez, that was long.
tell them about
time.
your brothers.
Between here's the old public market here, and the Masons lived here in a little house, and my mother's house was here, and in between my mom's house and the old public market, there was nothing but blackberry bushes, and these blackberry bushes were 8 foot tall. Well, my brother, and then across, which would have been the old community clubhouse, which was across from her house, behind there was some kind of a store that sold refrigerators and television. Well, my brothers used to get these big boxes and stuff. Well, they dug tunnels from, and it went through the blackberry bushes with these cardboard boxes. And somehow underneath the Capri Market,
Public market, right?
or the old public market, everything was rotten up there and rat holes and stuff. But my brothers found a hole in the floor one time where they used to steal cigarettes. And I remember I got introduced to their tunnels one time, and boy, did I get sick. We all sit out there, and I think we smoked a whole pack of cigarettes apiece or something. I don't know, but we were all sick.
Until when?
Oh, that's when my grandmother saw their smoke coming out of there.
And she turned the hose on them.
So she's spraying the hose over there to put the fire out.
Got a little wet.
Well, I thought my stuff was on fire. Yeah, right.
You said
So the tunnel went to the market, not Capri.
No,
to the public.
No, it was the
Oh.
old public market.
public market.
That was
Yeah.
before
Before
Capri.
Capri.
And
Okay.
that, was there a tunnel, was there more than one tunnel? So you said
I couldn't tell you.
a network of them?
No, there was just one tunnel that went in with the boxes making the walls of the tunnel.
And that was all inside the blackberry bushes. And,
Oh, gosh.
yeah,
I don't think I've ever heard that story.
that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one, boy.
So did you boys get in trouble?
Never got caught.
Except by your grandmother.
No, that was the only person that ever caught us, yeah. Yeah.
And
And she didn't really catch us. She just
sprayed us off.
she knew we were smoking or something in there because took the old hose and was spraying us. But
That's funny.
Well, and there was a ice house
oh,
when Capri was there. Then they had an ice house that was on Hazel,
Yeah.
right behind them, where they
it was right next to my mom's house.
and his brothers knew how to. You could just hit the thing, and it would
Money
drop
box.
ice.
Oh.
Oh, the money box would
Money
fall open
box.
too.
Sometimes the money box would come open, where you'd get
Quarters.
2 or 3 quarters maybe out of it. But one time, I don't know which brother it was, but you take this big old rock and you throw it against it, and all of a sudden it started 50-pound blocks of ice coming out of this chute. Well, my stupid brother, instead of just letting it back up, he threw it in the ditch next to the ice house. And the next day, bless my grandmother's heart, those Chinamen wasting ice again. They threw it in the ditch.
And so she was out there bringing it home. She's picking it up and bringing it in the house.
Oh, boy.
And your mother said they were so good to you.
You know, they were the best of all of them. Yeah, they were great people and actually Frank was probably the best, because Frank used to always, he was the one when Frank would give us candy and stuff, and Willie'd just
And I had to train my children that no, you cannot take peanuts and just eat them. You have to put them in a bag and pay for them. And you can't get apples, you can't, because Frank, when Dan would have the kids in the store, he'd give them fruit. He had the fruit
Yeah.
section. And he'd give them peanuts, here, have peanuts. And so
Frank
they
Law.
thought it was all okay. No! What you do with your dad, that's a different story. Not with me. You do not steal fruit and vegetables.
Yeah, well, they were good. They were good people, though.
Yeah.
And Harry, I think Harry was the one that he kind of had a crush on my mother, I think, because
He came around a
Because-
lot.
he used to hang around at our old house there on Hazel when my sister was pretty little, maybe.
Harry?
Yeah, Harry.
The dog.
I know.
No, Harry used to hang around. There's pictures there at the house somewhere of Diane and Harry, because Diane they were buddies. But no, they were all. And then they had a sister, Betty, that nobody ever talked much about Betty because she was a gorgeous lady when I was little, because she used to, we used to go down there and see her, and she was always nice, but you never saw her at the store. Never, they didn't let her go out of the house, I don't think, much.
They said they treated her like a princess. I think
They did do that, and then when she went to San Francisco and got married, and
She left him.
she left him, and then she passed away, a long time ago. But she was a good people.
Yeah, I believe, was it Frank who was the last surviving?
I think Albert.
Albert, yes, Albert. It was Albert.
Yeah, he was. I knew Albert better than any of them.
Albert was one of the first ones that died.
No,
Yeah,
Was?
Albert died young.
You sure?
Harry was the last one that died, I believe.
I thought Albert.
Either Harry or Clarence, one of the two.
Well, they were they were older than Albert. I mean, quite a bit older.
Yeah. Albert was the youngest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought Albert and his wife, they bought the 7-Eleven store
they did
over at
down there.
Woodmore Oaks or
Yeah,
whatever.
they had that one, and Willie took it over.
The son.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Frank's son.
Okay. I remember Helen saying that she talked to them, and it seemed like
Well, Albert died
Okay.
a long time ago because he got cancer or something, and then but either Harry or Clarence was the last of the Woos to die.
Well, you guys did a real good article on them in the Orangevale paper, the Orangevale News. That was a nice article. I don't know who did that, if you guys did that or...
No, that would be research. We're divided into teams.
Okay,
We're interview.
okay.
With Henry lived down here.
Henry lived down that way somewhere. Harry lived down there. Harry lived on Reesmore.
Harry did?
Yeah.
Okay. Harry had kids the same age as our kids. And he only had 3. Yeah. So, but those 3 were the same age as our 3s. They were 2 years apart, all of them. And when he had 2 girls, and then he had a boy. Well, the kindergarten
Oh, that
teacher
was Henry's.
Henry's, yeah. Henry was went in for the parent-teacher conference. And Henry was a kid. No, okay. The little boy, she'd had the 2 girls in kindergarten. They were perfect little angels and did everything. Well, Henry wasn't quite. And so she was talking to the dad, and she was telling him how he was doing, and he says, I tell him to do better.
That was the end of it.
That was what she said, and he did, and he did.
They were all the boys were good, but Leroy, he moved to El Dorado Hills, him and his wife, and they had the two twins. I don't remember those two twins' name, do you?
Oh, the ones that worked in the store.
Yeah.
Are you,
Huh?
are you talking about the Woos?
Mm-hmm.
How many people in Orangevale worked at Capri Market?
Yeah.
Oh, a lot.
A lot.
So many people, either there or there was a little, they had a 5 and dime. Is that where you worked?
No, I worked
That
at
was
Capri.
Capria variety. That's
And I worked at Capri Pharmacy.
Okay.
That was
Pharmacy
Dale
was down
Schrader.
to
With
Florida.
Dale.
Uh-huh.
He won't answer my calls.
No,
Dale, I hope you're listening to this.
he was a good boss. He and Bob. I don't remember Bob's last name, but I know Bob has since passed away. But Dale's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in your childhood, when you were, a long time ago, you kept talking about on your property, you had livestock.
Yeah, we did. I lived on Central, like I said. We had an acre, so we had horses, chickens, ducks, pigs.
Butchering now.
Yeah, the cows and popping their belly with a knife, and I did all that.
We used to, there at my mom's place, so at one time, I think we had about like 35 cars lined up around the property because anybody in Orangevale, when we were, I don't know, from the time we were about 12, 13, anyway, through high school, if they had an old car that didn't run or something, they'd call us up, you want it? Come tow it away or we'll have it delivered, you know. And I don't know who turned us in one time, but the sheriff came out there and they said, we got reports that maybe you guys might have stolen cars here.
Uh-oh.
And out of all 30 cars or something that was back there, there was only one of them that was stolen. And for some reason, my grandmother used to always tell us to save this paper. And we had papers that people signed that said, well, we gave this car to blah, blah.
Grandma
We had
covered
it. Or my grandmother had it, I should say, but, and so we got out of that one too, but. And then, but we did have to get rid of the cars because they said we were running a wrecking yard there or something. But anybody wanted car parts, we just give it to them, so we didn't care. Yeah, oh well, back in the day.
Well, we had the horse in my parents' backyard for a while.
Yeah.
Till Christmas came and he could take it home to Diane, his little sister. Then he had it on their property there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Was the Orangevale clubhouse still there when you were growing up?
Yeah,
Yep.
and it burnt down.
Yep.
No, which one is that?
Used to be right across the street, kind of catty corner from where my mom's place was. My mom's house was like here, only it was there. It was kind of be Pittman and Shell, and then the old community clubhouse was right over across the street.
I just remember the one down further.
That's
on
where
Hazel.
they used to. My mom used to always complain about a lot of times on Saturday morning you'd find people laying on the front yard, you know, because they were
From the
little.
clubhouse across
They
the
left the
street.
clubhouse and they couldn't make it any further, I guess. But yeah, the old community clubhouse was across there, and next to it was Harris Hardware Store.
Maybe we need to get your dog to sign a release.
What was the clubhouse like inside?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember that clubhouse.
We never went inside of it, but you know, it was just kind of an old.
Was it a bar? I mean, where they were drinking? That's why they
guess.
fell asleep in the yard?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't
Did they
remember
have
that.
dances
It was-
there or
it was-
something?
Yes,
Dances?
they
They had dances
Okay,
and stuff
yeah,
there.
so that's what it
So,
would have been on
okay.
a Friday night or a Saturday night or something.
Okay.
And it was always, on the weekends, it seemed like it was always pretty noisy.
No.
But then, I don't know, I was probably 6 or 7, 8 years old when it burnt down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
I don't
gonna
know.
say it wasn't there when we
No,
were
it was
there.
gone when you got there.
No, there was a strip mall behind the
No.
shoe store.
What are you talking about now? Harris Hardware was right across from my mom's house.
Okay, but then it moved somewhere else.
No.
No, okay. Down from it, there was,
Where the post office is?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there was,
That was still a field.
but there were some stores right on Hazel, right behind the gas station. There
Oh,
was,
that was the bank. Bank of America
I
was there.
don't know.
well, it was, okay, and then it moved over. And after it moved over, there was this, like, 3 or 4 stores.
I don't know.
There was a shoe store there.
Your wife would know about the shoe store.
I know about the shoe store because all my bridesmaids got their shoes free
Oh.
from that shoe store.
Oh, because they owed your dad money.
They did. He was a bookie that running the speed store, the shoe store there. He was, and it was right across the street on Hazel. Anyway, he owed my dad money, so he sold me shoes for free for the bridesmaids for our wedding.
Oh, well, you know.
I want to hear the stories about moonshine.
Moonshine?
I don't know too much about
no,
it.
they did that before they were born.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was
It
That
was,
was the
you know,
grandpa's.
it was my grandpa and Dan's
grandpa.
grandpa. And when our grandmas couldn't find them, I had always heard the story they were passed out
somewhere together.
somewhere.
But this was not in Orangevale.
Well,
It would be,
I don't know. Where
Maybe
did
when your grandpa came from Chico,
yeah, well, they lived right there at the
Yeah.
corner. They lived there where,
Farrell's
in
lived.
the old Farrell's house. I mean, they owned that whole corner.
my grandma?
They lived in Folsom though, didn't they?
Yeah, and my grandpa
And how
was
the
the
two
prison.
of those got together, I don't know,
I
because,
don't know that either. this
They
because,
probably went to school together.
My grandpa and
Or
your
no, because
grandpa.
yours was in Chico.
That would have been Betty's dad and
Yeah.
my mom's dad.
yeah,
So my
But
mom's
his
dad.
grandpa died when his mom was only 12 years old.
Well,
beat
So-
shit out of me.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was Betty's dad. Is that what you're saying? Passed away?
Yeah,
Okay, because I was going to say maybe it was my grandma's husband, so it was my grandpa. So who was your
Well-
grandpa?
yeah.
He died, Dan's grandpa died when his mother was 12. But they were living at her grandparents' house here in Orangevale.
Yeah.
So it might have
Maybe-
been your great-grandpa.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
Might have
know.
been your
I don't know. All I know.
We don't know too much
They were
about that.
moonshiners.
They were moonshiners.
But I did find underneath the old barn at my grandfolks' house, we did find a few bottles of pretty wild stuff that was underneath the barn.
Did you sample it?
Yeah, we did. And it wasn't very good.
Yeah, I don't. I'll have to ask my sister a little more about that.
I don't suppose you still have the empty bottles.
No.
I'm sure the History Museum would love to have those.
I don't know, those, I think you could have lit it on fire, whatever it was.
Kind of like the stuff you made the one time.
Oh, no, that was not good.
We heard about a moonshiner on Main and Orangevale Avenue.
Okay, Maine.
Main and Orangevale Avenue.
Avenue,
That's where
okay.
Golightly lived.
And and there was some kind of a water well there that was used for pickup.
Maine and Orangevale. Orangevale's, we lived,
Right down,
Yeah. But
yeah,
Right there where
Just,
Bennings lived
not
there.
very far off Greenback.
You know where Bennings used to live?
and you had someone you went to school with, George, or didn't he live there on Orangevale Avenue?
George.
Vasquez, or the one that worked on the cars all the time? Wasn't that Orangevale? Okay, so Orangevale is this way, and then our Benning was that way, and then
Maine.
Maine was here.
Yeah.
So you're saying Maine and Orangevale?
Right there at the corner.
Trying to think who lived there. That's kind of empty.
Bennings used to live on,
I thought it was a little triangle.
It used to be the road swept around in a curve.
That's on the other side. Yes,
Right.
because Opal, I know who you're talking about. Opal.
And that was the side that had.
Yeah, the house right there on the curb.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Opal. Her name was Opal. She owned the bar on Main, right there in the corner.
yeah.
That was Opal,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
my dad was a friends of Opal.
Yeah.
I used to go in the bar when I was little and sit up at that bar stool, and they'd serve me just sparkly water or something. And Opal would have been the moonshiner, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm sure of that.
And
because-
she loved Halloween, and we would go to her house every Halloween, and she'd always have special treats for my sister and myself, and a drink from my dad and mom.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
back in the good days.
Opal.
You know?
what was her last name?
I don't know.
And what was the name of the bar where that's the Crown's upholstery shop? There used to be a bar right there.
Gateway?
It could have been Gateway.
I don't know where you're talking about.
Main Avenue.
Right there on the corner?
Yes.
That,
No, it's down just a little
Yeah, a
bit.
little bit down.
Do you remember the Chinese restaurant that was at Main and
I do,
Orangevale Avenue?
I do.
You do?
yeah.
Oh, good, because nobody else remembers it. He
Yeah, we used to get takeout there all the time.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good. Yeah, yeah. we
his
used
mom
to-
didn't cook a lot.
Yeah,
mean,
because
she
I
didn't
was,
have-
I mean, I know it was there in the early 60s because that's when we had the store, and we'd go down there and get Chinese food all the time.
Do you remember the name of it?
I don't know. Have no
Or the
idea.
family?
No.
I've seen the name before in some of the programs for powwow days. And they even had a phone number.
Oh,
I used to join my grandpa and go over there and get all the takeout. You go take it, you know.
Yeah. That was delicious.
gosh, I don't remember that.
I remember we used to drive all the way to
That was still there when
Roseville
Mm.
we were in the apartments.
to get Chinese
I
food.
don't remember that.
In the old part of
Think so.
Roseville, there was a little place, and it had a door. There was a little bitty door, and you had to go up these long stairs.
Oh, I remember that in Roseville.
Yeah.
Somewhere over there.
Yeah.
I remember going up those
old,
stairs.
Old town, yeah,
Yeah.
best Chinese food in the world.
Yeah, Helen would know about that.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah, that one, and
Yep, I remember the little skinny stairs.
yep, skinny stairs and long ways up there. Yep, all wooden, dirty floors. Really nice.
Good food, though.
That's how it often
Yeah.
is.
Oh my goodness.
But
So how long have you been doing this?
3 years? 3 years.
And so what happens with these interviews? You just make notes, and then are you trying to do a booklet, or?
I make notes mostly for contacts, so I write down names, and then Ken takes the footage and edits it.
okay,
We had, for example, we had a man who was talking about his wife, who was when he met her and married her, and she was at the interview, but was completely not there. And he broke down and cried for about 5 minutes. So you know, you're not gonna. That was edited out. He does that kind of thing. And then he.
But who sees these is what?
Oh, everybody.
Oh my God.
It goes on. We have a YouTube channel.
Oh my God.
Wait, I'm not done. And
That's why you signed that release.
We also have a Facebook page, and we also have our own website.
These videos just go to YouTube.
Oh, they do? They don't go to all the other ones?
No.
Oh, okay, well, see, you're off the hook. Just YouTube.
Okay. That's what
But you're in really good company. There's all kinds of other interviews that are really juicy.
Oh, we could tell
What's
you.
the site on?
We could tell you about the pink pussycat. We could tell
Oh, could
you
we ever?
about Black Stallion. We could tell you some of those stories.
We
but
heard some good pink pussycat stories. You want to tell us some more?
I'll tell you one. I'll tell you one.
well, I can tell you one that I used to work down at Crocker at Madison and Hazel, and Mr. Clancy used to come in there every week with his big wad of money and put it out my window and say, "You want some of this? Come to work for me." No, thank you. No, he had some good quality thoughts, but he was a dirty old man.
Yes, he was.
He was something else.
What was your story, Penny?
Well, my mother-in-law, you met her,
Mrs. Hall.
and my sister-in-law, she wanted to see what this was all about. She wanted to go to the Pink Pussycat and see what it was all about. And Dan says, okay. I says, well, I'm not going in there without you. You're going in with us. So we go to the Pink Pussycat. Dan sits me and Diane and his mother up at the little table. There was up on a stand at the back. And he goes over and plays pool. And it was like sitting there looking under the bathroom door or something. I was about to die. Oh, yeah. This was when we were first married.
Well, you know,
Yeah, we got to see the Pink Pussycat.
So did your mother only want to go there one time?
I never took her back.
But she did know she'd gone to the Pink Pussycat.
Yeah.
One of the women we interviewed went, same thing, made her husband take her. And she said to us, she said, I had a much better shape than those ladies did.
Well, let me tell you, there was some pretty.
Tell him what you called the one girl.
Old fried egg lady.
Pancakes.
There was pretty bad.
Yes.
It was pretty bad stuff.
It wasn't.
Yes.
It wasn't a high quality.
No, it
product.
was not. It was not.
No, but
But it was controversial enough for the county sheriff to come out.
Oh yeah.
And stay and watch.
yeah, that was.
Oh, yes, it was a big deal for a
Yeah,
while
well.
there.
I don't know how long it was there.
It was probably there about 10 years.
Is it there that long?
That long?
Yeah, it was quite a while
Well, we
because.
know it was there in the early '70s because it was there when we had the house on Hazel.
Yeah, it was.
You know that.
Yeah, we're not telling that story.
That was a good story on Randy.
All right.
There's a documentary about that Pink Pussycat.
I heard that on like PBS or something, some channel that you wouldn't think it would be on.
Like
Right.
PBS.
Yes, it was something like that.
Well, it was a big deal.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it was just,
Yeah.
Didn't people picket it and?
oh, of course.
Yeah.
There was the Pink Pussycat, and there was one at the corner of Fulton,
Old Auburn.
down by the Wonder Bread place.
Tropic.
Right next door, right next
Tropic.
door.
Arden Way?
Yeah, Arden Way, and it was next to the Wonder Bread place, and it was kind of like a warehouse, and I don't know. I remember there was a bunch of us went down there one time, and
I didn't remember about this.
because we wanted to know what it was like to get out of Orangevale and see what it was like, you know. And it was
Not any better, huh?
no, it was worse. It was bad, but
And they didn't even have pool?
no, I didn't.
Darn.
No.
So, do you have any good Black Stallion stories?
The Black Stallion was there for, I think, 52 years.
I was going to say a long time.
Well,
It was
what
there.
was his name, Freddie?
Didn't Ron and Mike Stewart's.
Stewart, their dad owned it.
Owned it.
He owned it for a while.
Was that at the
He's the
beginning?
guy, Stewart, Jack Stewart was a buddy of my dad's. And old Jack Stewart, that's when Jack Stewart and Frances Stewart, that's when they got a divorce because he took and hawked their house for a down payment to buy the Black Stallion.
I know my dad knew Jack too. I don't know if they went to school together or, I mean.
Jack has been around
Yeah,
Orangevale forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know,
Is he still alive?
no.
Probably not.
He's my dad's age. He'd be 100 and something.
My mother-in-law's still alive.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No,
I don't
that's-
think so.
No. No, there's still some of the Stewarts is still around, but they're up in, I
Reno.
think, Georgetown or something like that.
Francis lives up in Nevada, Reno, I think. The daughter. He had 3 sons
Yeah,
and
and Francis.
And you knew the owners of the Black Stallion, recent owners, right? You golfed with them.
Well, now it's a hideaway
Yeah,
or
but I don't know
something.
who it is.
Called the Hideaway.
Yeah, it's a hideaway.
I remember you,
Come on.
like I was going to go in there. So. My dad used to go there.
Oh, I know. Well,
How about Jan's Lounge? That's been around for a while, hasn't it?
I've never been in there.
I've been in
Penny?
there once.
You weren't in there once?
One time.
No, it's the generation older than us.
Ah.
My uncle lived,
Oh, your Uncle Bill.
lived at Jan's Lounge for a few years, but he's been gone for 20 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But Jan evidently sold it and left. Now she's back. That's what I heard.
I don't know.
That's
I know
what
like the Cowtown and then Park Place and Boardwalk and all of those have had 2, 3, 4
Different owners,
different
yeah.
owners.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then there was one killing there. I remember that.
Well, that's a long time ago, though.
Well, I know.
Was that at the boardwalk?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
One of
I
my,
can tell you a good story about the Black Stallion if you want to hear a good story. I was probably about 25 or 26 maybe, and I was coming from Folsom with all the kids, and I was doing probably 40 miles an hour, and we come up on the
Only one
front
kid.
of Black Stallion, and I slammed on my brakes, and this guy on this motorcycle went flying over the top of my car. That was old Fat Freddy.
That was his name. They called him.
He was a drug dealer in Orangevale back then, and
It was
when we stopped and everything, and I told the guys, I said, "Hey, get the shit out of there." I says, "The cops are on their way."
you told
He
that
had,
to
he
who?
had
his friends.
his buddies that was out
They
there.
said he was too damn drunk. We told him he shouldn't be out here driving.
He fell off his motorcycle twice in the parking lot.
It was the second time he was standing it up in the road. And
Yeah,
there were
that's where I
lights
hit
there
him.
and there in a shadow place. Yeah, stood it up. Well, he didn't get hurt, but
No, he broke his legs or something, and
leg or whatever.
he's tried to sue me.
Yeah, he tried, but it
Because
didn't work.
you hit him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the middle of Greenback Lane,
He went over you
over the top of the car.
and then you hit him.
No,
No,
he hit him and
he was
flew
standing
over.
the motorcycle up like this,
He hit the
and
motorcycle.
I hit the motorcycle, and he went over the top of the car. But he had a gun, and he had a knife, and he had drugs on his motorcycle. I don't know what he all
Yeah,
had.
the motorcycle was filled with drugs, and we're telling his friends, "You
Get
better
stuff
get
outta
the
here."
stuff out of there before." And then the guy tries to sue us.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work, but
Yeah, he brought all these guys as witnesses, and they all said, "Well, I told the judge, we told him not to ride because he fell over."
twice, and it was
In the
the
parking
second
lot.
time he picked up the motorcycle. Oh dear.
That was just
That
by
was-
the Black Stallion. That wasn't really a Black Stallion.
Yes, it was the straight out of their exit.
Tell us about Park Place.
Park Place?
About,
You mentioned Park Place.
well, that's what, between Cowtown and Boardwalk, it was called Park Place.
I think so.
And I think that's where the killing was.
Oh, that was, yeah.
One of my acquaintance's daughter worked there, and she's the one who got killed. It was during, they were closing, and she was, the front was locked, and she was going, if I remember right, out the back and locking up, and there was someone there, and they robbed her, and she got, somehow didn't want to give them the money. I don't know the whole story, but she was killed.
Oh,
And that
About-
was
about
Black
what year?
Stallion?
No,
Or-
Park Place.
about what
Where's
year was
Park
that?
Place?
Let me think about it. I had my
Around-
business, 86, 90. I would say it was in the 90s.
In the 90s?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You remember Jeanette Lace and Trim?
Okay.
And her right arm, I think her name was like Marlene or Maureen. It was her daughter.
I don't.
Yeah, it was it would have been in the 90s because it was when I had my business, and that's how. It was pretty hush hush, if I remember right. It wasn't really that much on the news or
Well, and I don't even remember, where was the place?
Park Place, right where the boardwalk is now.
Oh, okay, it was called the
It
Park
used to
Place.
be Cowtown, right?
then Park
when we
Place.
had the store.
Yeah, well, that's where it was Cowtown.
Cowtown, and then it went to Park Place,
I think went to Park Place and then the Boardwalk.
and then Boardwalk.
Okay.
So in
It
the
was-
last 40 years, it's
Yeah.
been 3 different names that I know. There might have been something.
I thought maybe there was a Boardwalk, I thought
A
Boardwalk was
boardwalk
there
before
twice.
it,
Yeah, I thought there was Boardwalk twice there.
Yes, it
Well-
was.
But,
Park Place, I think, is when the killing took place.
I mean, I was just, Cowtown was the only thing I really knew.
Well, and I knew the boardwalk. So it was Cowtown, and then it was Boardwalk, I think.
I think so.
And then it was Park
Park
Place,
Place.
and then it was back to Boardwalk.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Was it anything before Cowtown?
I don't know.
I don't-
And we,
That was
when we
before us.
moved out there in December '59, it was Cowtown. That's, I don't know about that before unless, but
That's
that
when
was
we
at the other
came.
end of town from you guys.
Yeah, and I didn't walk that far.
You don't know or weren't part of any of the motorcycle clubs in Orangevale. We're trying to track some of that down, but I'm not
Well-
going anywhere.
Sisson, Sisson.
And Paula Cross, her dad owned the motorcycle shop in Orangevale, but
Paula Cross, yeah.
Yeah.
she's going through some medical
Men-
thing.
mental.
Well, I don't know, mental or dementia or what. I don't know. I don't know if she could give you too much information. And I don't know the family of Carl Crank. Carl Crank was well-known motorcycle racer in Orangevale that went on to regional
Well,
and
so was
nationals.
Skip, but then Skip moved to
He's in Reno.
Reno now. but
Oh, Gillespie?
He was
Glasgow.
here back then.
Yeah.
Glasgow.
And Carl Crank just passed away maybe a couple years ago. There was a lot of write-up on him, but he worked, I know, at the motorcycle shop that Paula's dad owned.
This is the one on Main Avenue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Roger Sisson was not part of the good crowd. He was Hell's Angel.
I was going to say, I don't know that name.
He's a Hell's Angel.
He lived across the street from her folks.
Straight across the street from my parents.
I don't remember that.
And, I mean, there would be motorcycles the
There's
whole
your
line.
Diet Pepsi out.
But there was
Your,
instructions
Pepsi.
that you didn't mess with the folks across the street. And so they were good to us. No problems at all ever there.
What
But-
was the name of the other motorcycle? There
Uh,
used to be 2,
Hell's Angels and what?
and something else.
Don't know.
Oh,
Who? What? Oh,
Another
Name of
motorcycle.
another motorcycle group?
Hell's Angel and Blue. I can tell you. I can tell you a story about a Hell's Angel lady.
That's wrong. Please try again.
That's you. When I used to have my shop, I mean, this is nothing for this, but when I used to have my shop, I had this lady come in and she was part of the Hells Angel. She had, and this was back in the 90s, mid-90s maybe, full tats, hair, beat it all up, and came in and says, well,
Was this your craft store? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I won't use the word she used because you're filming this, but she says, I need some beads. Okay, we have beads. I
You
need,
can edit it.
no, I'm not going to say what she said. I need red and I need black and I think yellow. I said, okay, what size hole, what kind, what do you, well, that SOB died on me the other day and it's my job to get him laid out in that coffin to make him look good. I'm going, okay. Okay, let's go to the bead department. So I took her over there. Well, this one will do. This one will do. This one I might use on some other hair parts of him. No, I'm going, okay. I thought, is this coffin nude or, naked? Is this guy? What's going on? I helped her and I said, you know what? This is on me. You just take these and we'll donate it to your cause. I got her out of there. It was scary back then. That was her job to
Fix up the dead people?
yeah. Yes, as a Hell's Angel. That was my experience with the Hell's Angel. I think that's the only one that I'd ever ran into.
Right down from the motorcycle shop, there was P&D Market.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Wyatt boys. Yeah, we know all them. We went
Yeah.
to school with them.
Yeah.
Ron is our class '66.
And then back in the day,
What's the younger? Wyatt.
Ronnie,
No, Ron was ours.
And
Yeah.
younger one.
What was his name?
I don't know.
You would know him probably, Ken. He probably was in '68.
Yeah, I went to school with a Wyatt, but I forgot his first name.
Yeah. Ron
That was the only date my sister ever had.
with
Was
the
one of the Wyatts.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 'cause see, I worked at Eldorado Veneer, which was Wetzel Oviatt Lumber Company back in, I went to work there in 65. 64, 65. One of those years. Anyway, I worked for them for like 12 years, and any person that was around Orangevale worked for me out there one time or another.
There were
A lot of them. And there was Michael Martinoni. He was one of the guys that came back from Nam all screwed up in his head and everything, but he worked for me for a few years and he was a pretty good guy.
He wasn't in Orangeville, was he?
Orangevale, yeah,
Oh.
he's still around. He knows the kitchens.
Have you ever heard the name Ron Patterson?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ron Patterson.
Ronnie Patterson lived
next to
on
him.
Central Avenue.
I lived next to him for a while.
On Central? Yeah, I know him. I remember him. He was class of '65. He was a year older than me. I liked him too.
Is he still around?
I have no idea.
But you said Michael Martinoni is?
Mike Martinoni is somewhere around here. I've seen him on Facebook, but I don't know exactly where he lives.
Okay.
But he's somehow is still friends with the Kitchen Boys.
Kitchen is in KIT?
CHEN.
And, yeah,
And they're around?
yeah.
And they're Orangevale?
They were. yeah.
Mike is still in Orangevale, and
There's
Jack
five,
is in
6
Citrus
boys.
Heights.
5 or 6.
I don't know, more than one.
Mike, Jackie,
Yeah,
wrestled with Danny. Tony.
Tony.
Mike, Jackie, Tony. Scott,
Scott,
and
the one that lives in Texas.
Texas.
David,
Dave.
6 boys.
Wow. All right.
They wrestled at
Can we
Bella
wrap this
Vista.
We need to wrap this up. We
Yeah.
could go on. You guys are just a font of information.